research institution. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, or MIT, is world-renowned as a research institution specializing in engineering and the physical sciences. It may therefore come as somewhat of a surprise that on the east side of campus, in the Department of Linguistics and Philosophy, a committed group of theoretical linguists has begun the study of Zaza. The department, founded in 1961 by Morris Halle and Noam Chomsky, has set the pace for much of the intellectual work that has subsequently made linguistics a strong and lively branch of the cognitive sciences. Today, with over 40 PhD students in the graduate program, the department maintains its focus on the continued importance of approaches to the discovery of both mental and cultural universals and contrasts. Part of the graduate training includes topics in the grammar of a less familiar language, a course initiated by Professor Kenneth Hale. On February 6, 2003, 9 MIT graduate students, led by Professors Michael Kenstowitz, a phonologist, and Norvin Richards, a syntactician, began their study of the relatively underdocumented Zazaki language. Zazaki can be classified as an endangered language, as it is being spoken less and less by younger generations. Since the beginning of the 20th century, Zazaki has been accepted as a language of its own among linguists, and not any longer merely as a Kurdi or Kurdish dialect. Nevertheless, until recently, the Zaza people were generally held to be Kurds, speaking a special dialect of Kurdi. Due to the oppressive minority and language policy of the Republic of Turkey, until 15 years ago there existed practically no indigenous Zazaki written literature, and so no means by which the Zaza people could find out anything about their own language and cultural identity. We interviewed Noam Chomsky on globalization and its effects on endangered languages.
Well, it's a complicated issue. First of all, when we talk about endangered languages, people usually have in mind third world languages or fourth world languages. They don't have in mind the languages of, say, Europe. But the languages of Europe are severely endangered. In fact, they've been disappearing at a very rapid rate. It's an early stage of what's now called globalization. I mean, with the formation of national states in Europe and the integration of the European societies, right within the most advanced region of Western civilization, there's been a very rapid decline of languages. So plenty of people can't talk to their grandmothers now because the languages have just disappeared. In fact, one of the major research programs in linguistics today is a European Union program studying disappearing languages in Europe. They're called dialects. They're just different languages. And on the other hand, and this bears on globalization, the integration of Europe and the kind of move towards centralization and so on has set up a counter-reaction with increasing normalization. Other regional languages are being revived with a good deal of commitment and intensity. And it's in Spain, for example, Catalan is much more lively than under Franco. It was suppressed. You walked on the streets of Barcelona, you never heard it. But now it's the language of Catalonia. The Basque language has been revived considerably. Other so-called dialects like Asturian and others are also becoming, people always spoke them, but now they're speaking them self-consciously and interested in reviving them in the culture and so on. And it's happening elsewhere too. You walk in the streets of Wales and school children are speaking Welsh. There is a reaction to the centralization and integration, which is leading to revival of regional identities, local cultures, practices, folk songs, language, and so on. And I suspect we're seeing, it's harder worldwide. This is a rich, privileged area, so lots of things can happen that aren't going to happen in the American Southwest or, Aboriginal Australia. But still, I think something similar can be found. So the general process is one of leveling and destruction. On the other hand, the human beings are complicated creatures. They also struggle for their own rights. So you get counter reactions.
Beyond the political importance of studying Zazygi, theoretical linguists can benefit from the study of an underdocumented language.
We are trying to put together a puzzle that has been scattered across all the languages of the world, that every language that we look at has something to contribute to our theoretical understanding of how human languages are put together. So I've been working with you on how questions are put together in Zazygi, and that's helped me to understand better how questions are put together more generally. There are things I understand better, for example, about a language from the Philippines that I work with, Tagalog, because of the things that you've taught me about how Zazygi works. So there are those kinds of connections. It's also important, I think, for the community who speaks Zazygi themselves to understand that the language is a valuable and an important language, that it's got properties that are of great interest to theoretical linguists.
The nature of the course then is to allow our students to